My husband has something you don't. Can you guess? It's money. Money is a man's status symbol, you poor thing. After years, I attended a reunion where a beautiful classmate, who always looked down on me, said this. While I was reminiscing about reuniting with friends, her comment was a real dampener. Indeed, during my school days, I wasn't blessed with wealth and life was tough. That's why I believe I understand the importance of money in life more than most. However, I learned what truly matters at my current company. A man approached me and said in an energetic voice, "Hi, Ryan. The company you run is doing great." You can easily imagine the look on my classmate's face upon hearing this. For me, it became an unforgettable memory. Yes, I had a hidden identity that my classmates didn't know about. My name is Ryan Anderson. I work at the flagship factory of an eyeglass manufacturer. The work at the factory is mostly mundane and repetitive. But I enjoyed watching glasses come together through each process. I take great pride in being responsible for one of those processes. This is because I have a strong attachment to this eyeglass manufacturer. The glasses I still wear from this manufacturer aren't ordinary. They are known as color correction glasses, designed for those who have difficulty seeing colors from birth. Ryan, try these glasses on. Don't worry, go on. It's okay. As a child, my parents gifted me my first pair of color correction glasses. Wow, what are these? They are so beautiful. The moment I put them on, the world turned vivid. I'll never forget the shock of seeing the world change so dramatically. Having always felt different because I saw the world differently, I dreamed of making such wonderful glasses and helping others like me. Yet, there was someone who mocked my current job. "Ryan, are you still working at the factory?" That person was Natalie. Natalie was a classmate from high school, and we used to hang out with the same group of friends. What's wrong with working at a factory? Nothing wrong, but going to college only to end up working at a glasses factory. So lame. Haha. Every time we went out drinking with mutual friends, Natalie would bring up my factory job and laugh about it without getting tired. Natalie was beautiful, but mean-spirited. Natalie, that's your problem. Whatever. Look at you, acting all high and mighty just because you work at a factory. Natalie made a displeased face at my lack of enthusiasm, but the feeling was mutual. I was starting to feel somewhat stressed out whenever I encountered Natalie. Regardless of the negative comments, I am satisfied with my job. After all, I've managed to secure a position at the eyeglass manufacturer I've admired since childhood. Ryan, great work today. Alex, you too. After finishing work at the factory, Alex approached me. Alex is the son of Mr. Carter, the president of the company, and we've become close since we're about the same age. Ryan, I need some advice. Yeah, what's up? It's about my dad. There's something. Alex whispered to me, seeming hesitant. The truth is, the company's financial situation wasn't great. And it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that the cause was Alex's father. He has become a guarantor for someone again, it seems, Alex shared. Again, after the trouble last time when the other party ran off. Yes, that's right. Ryan, could you maybe say something to him too? I don't mind, but did you say anything to Mr. Carter, Alex? Yes, I did, but you know how stubborn he can be despite his appearance. Mr. Carter is a gentle soul who trusts people easily. Moreover, once he's made up his mind about something, he's incredibly stubborn. This trait has led him to be duped by fraudulent schemes multiple times and become a guarantor for people he barely knows. I doubt anything I say will change his mind. We may just have to make sure it doesn't turn into a bigger issue and provide support where we can. That might be the best approach. Watching Alex looking anxious throughout, I couldn't shake the feeling that something unpleasant was about to happen. It was on such a day that... Ryan. Alex, what's up? Can you come to the office with me right now? My dad wants to talk. All right. Alex, looking pale, broached the subject, and I nodded in agreement, responding curtly. I had a bad feeling about this. Mr. Carter, you wanted to see us. Hi, we're here as requested. With a lingering sense of unease, Alex and I entered the president's office. Ryan, thank you for coming, and you too, Alex. Please, both of you, take a seat. Mr. Carter greeted us warmly, but he looked terribly worn. I wanted to discuss something with you both before making it official. Mr. Carter, I understand why Alex is here, but me as well. Yes, I know how much Alex relies on you and how much you care about this company. Ryan, I want you to hear this too. Understood. With resolve, I waited for Mr. Carter's next words. The sound of Alex holding his breath could be heard beside me. First, I need to apologize to both of you. I'm truly, very sorry. Dad. Mr. Carter, what happened? Shocked by Mr. Carter's sudden apology, both Alex and I couldn't hide our turmoil. Mr. Carter continued in a strained voice. I've incurred a debt of $1.4 billion. Selling the business is impossible now. I've decided to declare bankruptcy for the company. I'm truly sorry. No way. Mr. Carter. In front of the disheartened Mr. Carter, Alex was at a loss for words too. Is this the end? Just as I thought that, words naturally escaped my lips. I'll buy it. Ryan. I'll buy the company, so please, don't proceed with the bankruptcy just yet. Ryan. Alex, you'll help too, right? Yes, of course. I'm sorry, both of you. Truly, I'm sorry. Thank you. In front of Mr. Carter, who repeated his apologies and gratitude through tears, I made a vow. I will turn this company around, no matter what. Taking over as president through acquisition, the first thing I initiated was a review of the business plan. Ryan, are you going to redo the business plan now? Yes, there's still a bit of leeway with the repayment period for the debt. Let's create a plan that reduces the debt while recovering the business. Understood. I gave Alex a role to support my tasks. However, running the company was tougher than I had anticipated. Ryan, a product similar to the new product idea we were considering has been launched by another company. What, really? Even when we tried to launch new products, rival companies got there first. We were too late. That color correction glasses idea was key to our new business plan. Recently, there have been more new companies in this industry. New products are coming out faster than before. It's tough when things don't go as planned. Days went by without progress. But Alex and I, both deeply attached to this company, were determined not to lose it and worked desperately every day. While we managed to secure salaries for our employees, the difficult financial situation persisted. During these challenging times, I saw a glimmer of hope. Ryan, I've completed the data collection you asked for. Thank you. I immediately reviewed the documents Alex handed me. As you instructed, I revisited the new product proposal. Good. This is much better than before. Are these costs accurate? I've estimated a bit generously, but it won't go higher than this. What do you think? Yes, just as I thought. If we can sell just 3 units per day in each store, we can definitely turn things around. This was a realization we had while working on the business plan together. Despite the worsening financial situation, our company was once among the top in domestic market share. Though significantly reduced, we still have over 100 stores nationwide. We may just make it if that's the case. Exactly. Now, let's focus on boosting sales in each store. Yes. Just as I thought we had found the right path, I was soon confronted with a harsh reality. Sitting in a cafe during a break, I sipped my coffee and sighed deeply. Sales is tough. I started to feel frustrated by my lack of sales skills. Despite embarking on enhancing sales efforts at stores nationwide, it wasn't going smoothly. That's not surprising, considering I had no experience in sales. Sales and management at the factory were completely different. The world of sales seemed entirely different from the society I had known until then. What should I do? As I sat there, stumped, a familiar face passed by. Emily. I called out without thinking. What? The woman in a suit turned around, surprised to see me. Could it be Ryan? It is you, Emily. I felt a hint of joy at this unexpected reunion. She was Emily, a classmate from my high school days. We had drifted apart after graduation, but back then, she was part of the group I hung out with. It's been so long. I never expected to run into you here. Really, it's been a while. Oh, can I sit here? Of course. Thank you. Emily smiled and took the seat in front of me. With her sophisticated makeup and sharp suit, Emily had become a completely mature woman, a far cry from her high school days. Ryan, are you on a break right now? Yeah, something like that. What about you, Emily? Me, well. Emily smiled ambiguously, looked around cautiously, and then whispered to me. I quit my job today. Really? Are you okay? Did something happen? Yeah, a few things. Emily shared her situation with me, seeming hesitant. To put it simply, I was about to be removed from sales. Emily, you were in sales. Yes, I love sales, and I'm proud to say it's my forte. I've been at the top of the sales charts recently, but there was a superior who didn't appreciate that. I see. Listening to Emily's story, I wondered if this could be a golden opportunity. Emily, this is sudden, but... What's up? I want you to come work at my company. What? Your company, Ryan? Are you a business owner? Yeah, I am, but there are some circumstances. I explained to Emily how I came to run the company and the current situation we were in. What? So you bought a company that was in debt? That's right. And you're struggling with sales? It's embarrassing, really. No, it's not embarrassing at all. Emily, I've decided I'm going to your company. Really, Emily, are you sure? Of course, I've never been so excited about a job before. Let's turn the company around together. Leave the sales to me. Thank you, Emily. I'm truly grateful. I was deeply thankful to Emily for readily agreeing to join my company. Later on, Emily's work ethic would astonish me. To strengthen sales at each store, Emily first wanted to inspect all the stores nationwide. Boss, it's okay to book the next business trip. Didn't you just get back from a trip? Aren't you tired? You can take it easy for a bit. I'm fine, really. More than that, I don't want to miss this chance. All right, could you visit the stores in this region next? Yes. Emily, just don't overdo it, okay? Haha, thank you, Ryan. I'm off then. Emily's passion for sales was truly remarkable. Traveling across the country, she was not only engaging in new sales initiatives at each store, but also creating sales strategy manuals tailored to each region. Mr. Anderson, thanks to Emily coming from the headquarters, our store's sales have increased. That's great to hear. It looks like we'll meet our quota this month too. Thank you, I appreciate your continued efforts. The feedback from branch managers across the country, who report to me, is also positive. For Emily, sales must truly be her calling. I was once again grateful that Emily had joined our company. Since Emily came on board, the company's performance gradually improved. 3 years later, we managed to pay off the debt and finally turned the company profitable. Despite our busy schedules, I made time to invite Alex and Emily for a meal to personally thank them. They had steadfastly supported me since the company was drowning in debt, and I wanted to express my gratitude. Alex and Emily, you've both done so well. I'm counting on you moving forward. Yes, sir. Thanks to you too, Ryan. In a serene private dining room, we shared a toast. There were times I wasn't sure we'd make it, but we did. My dad was pleased too. He wants to thank you personally. I'll make sure to visit him soon. I was genuinely relieved to have good news for Mr. Carter. Next up, international expansion for our stores. I'm counting on you, Emily. Leave it to me. I'm so excited about doing sales overseas. Even after 3 years, Emily's enthusiasm for sales only seemed to grow stronger. Thank you, both of you, truly. It's fair to say that the company's growth was largely due to Alex and Emily's efforts. I once again expressed my gratitude to both. As the company's performance stabilized, Alex shared some personal news. Ryan, do you have a moment? What's up? I'm a bit embarrassed to say this, but I recently got married. Congratulations. I didn't know you had a girlfriend, Alex. Yes, it was quite a whirlwind romance. Are you planning a wedding ceremony? We'll start planning slowly. My wife wants to make the ceremony perfect. I'm looking forward to it. Make sure to invite me. Yes, of course. Alex's joyful news warmed my heart. Until now, I had no idea Alex had a girlfriend, but I was determined to celebrate him grandly at the wedding ceremony. After hearing about Alex's good news, I received some pleasant news of my own. Ryan, did you get the reunion invitation? Yeah, it arrived yesterday. You're going, right, Emily? Of course, it's been years since we've all met. I can't wait. We received an invitation to our high school reunion. I've been all about work these past few years. It'll be nice to see everyone. We'll have to finish work early that day. Hold on, this doesn't happen often. Let's take the afternoon off. Really? Is it okay? Emily played along with my mischievous suggestion. How about a special bonus to buy a new dress? Awesome. Can you cover the salon too, boss? Sure thing. I was half joking. Are you sure? It's fine. You'll have occasions to wear the dress for work events. Consider it a gift from me. Ryan, thank you. I'm looking forward to the reunion. Although I ended up offering to cover Emily's preparation costs, seeing her happy made it worth it. I was happy to see my friends after such a long time. Emily and I were looking forward to the day of the reunion while adjusting our work schedules. On the day of the reunion, Emily and I finished our morning work early, got ready, and headed to the venue. Wow, quite a few people have gathered. Yeah. I glanced at Emily, who was looking around the venue nervously. Something wrong? No, nothing. Our eyes met directly, and I honestly felt my heart skip a beat. Her makeup and hairstyle were different from usual. Emily, dressed in the dress I had given her, looked incredibly attractive. The dress suits you. Thanks. We both turned away, feeling somewhat embarrassed. Just then, someone came between Emily and me. Isn't that Ryan and Emily? Wow, it's been so long. It was Natalie. I had forgotten about her. Since it was a high school reunion, it was natural for Natalie to be there. But honestly, I had hoped not to meet her. Natalie, you're here. Of course, I have something I want to announce to everyone today. Are you okay, Natalie? Natalie, who seemed drunk and was slurring her words, was supported by Emily. But Natalie continued to talk about herself, not minding her state. I got married. Really? I had no idea. Congratulations. Jup. My husband is the future president of a big corporation. That's amazing, Natalie. The wedding will be in Hawaii. I'll invite you too. Oh, but Ryan, you might not be able to afford it, right? Always making those weird glasses in that boring factory. Sorry, haha. Natalie, you've had too much to drink. Maybe you should sober up a bit. Even when drunk, Natalie didn't forget to assert her superiority. Her unpleasant personality was astounding. Whatever, you're still so boring. Come on, Natalie, let's sit over there. As Emily tried to lead the staggering Natalie to a chair, Natalie suddenly said, Hey, I know something. What is it? Natalie, with a malicious smile I had never seen before, made both Emily and me freeze. Ignoring our reactions, Natalie grinned and turned to Emily. Hey, Emily, you're good at sales, right? It's not that big of a deal. Don't be modest. Hey, did you know? I heard a rumor about you. A rumor about me? Yes, listen up, everyone. Suddenly, Natalie raised her voice. The gathered classmates turned their attention to us. Emily here is known in the sales world as a loose woman who uses her charms to sell products. How scandalous. Haha. What? No, that's not true. I don't know anything about that. Why would you say such a thing? Natalie, stop it already. I instinctively stepped between Emily and Natalie, pulling them apart. Hey, be careful. Natalie, nearly losing her balance, glared at me. Ryan, it's not true. I've never used seduction tactics like that. Amid whispers from the classmates focusing on Emily, her voice trembled with fear. It's okay, I know. I reassured Emily before turning back to face Natalie. Natalie, even if it's a joke, it's in poor taste. Apologize to Emily. What? It's none of your business. It's not about whether it's my business or not. Just apologize to Emily. Annoying, aren't you? Why so desperate? Oh, Ryan, could it be that you have to? What are you talking about? Natalie smirked at me, her expression filled with malice. Ryan, could it be that you've fallen for Emily's seductive tactics? What? Men are so simple, aren't they? A woman dressed in a dress like this is obviously trying to allure men, right? Suddenly, Natalie hugged Emily, crumpling her dress. Stop, Natalie, stop it, please. Emily, just admit it already with that dress. How far were you planning to go with Ryan today? Natalie, enough is enough. Just as I was about to separate Natalie and Emily again. Natalie, I've come to pick you up. Alex appeared at the entrance, waving at us. Alex. Alex. Hey, Ryan, and Emily too. Well, so my boss was classmates with my wife. What? Wait, who what? Confused, Natalie looked back and forth between me and Alex. Alex hurried over, still waving. Sorry, my wife asked me to pick her up, but I'm a bit late. Natalie, can you walk? You're so drunk. Alex, what do you mean? Natalie. I called her name shortly. What? Natalie turned around, her face pale as if sobered up. Too bad. Your husband you brag about is my subordinate. No way. It's true. Want to see a business card? Oh, and show her yours too, Emily. Oh, okay. Emily and I handed our business cards to Natalie. No, this can't be happening. Natalie, trembling, stared intently at the business cards. Natalie, I bought the company from Alex's father, and now both Alex and Emily work for me. Alex isn't the next president. President, that was my dad's title. I've explained this to you many times, Natalie. Did you still misunderstand? No way. Stunned, Natalie collapsed to her knees. Natalie, my company wouldn't have grown this much without Emily's help. Her sales skills are genuine. Emily would never do the indecent things you're suggesting. That's just because you don't know. Don't make baseless accusations. And remember, Alex would never display the kind of arrogance you are showing just because he's related to the president. Ryan. Suddenly, Alex timidly interjected. Did Natalie say something rude to you or Emily? Alex, I didn't do anything. It's just that everyone's a bit tipsy and getting a bit heated, that's all. Natalie, be quiet, I'm asking Ryan. Alex, with an unusually stern expression, silenced Natalie and turned back to me. Ryan, please, tell me what happened. All right. I handed my phone to Alex with a resigned look. I've been recording since Natalie started harassing us. I thought I might need it if she said something again, especially since she seemed drunk. Ryan, how dare you record without permission? That's like eavesdropping. Wait, just wait. Without letting Natalie finish, I played the recording from my phone. I can't believe this. Alex's face turned crimson as Natalie's tirade played back. Stop it, it's not true. Alex, believe me, that's not me. That's enough, Natalie, I'm disappointed in you. It's different, Alex, I was drunk. I don't remember anything. Natalie. Alex looked at Natalie, who was desperately trying to find an excuse, with a sad gaze. I can't be with someone who speaks ill of my boss, Emily, or the company my dad built. Natalie, I want a divorce. No, I don't want that, no. Natalie's scream echoed through the venue. It was some time later that Alex informed me that the divorce with Natalie was finalized. Ryan, I truly apologize for the trouble. You're too gullible, just like your father. Both of you need to be more discerning. Don't be mean. Haha, sorry. I tried to lighten the mood with a joke as Alex apologized with a serious face. But after this incident, I couldn't help wishing Alex would learn to be a bit more skeptical of people. As for Natalie, now alone after the divorce, her situation seemed quite pitiful. Her habit of trying to one-up others had accelerated after marrying Alex, driving her friends away. Natalie was dependent on Alex for her lifestyle. After the divorce, the prospects of remarriage were slim, and with virtually no career of her own, she's now struggling with part-time work. Emily, I'm sorry. For what? For that time, it must have been tough for you. It was unpleasant, but it wasn't your fault. Seeing Emily smile awkwardly, I felt something inside me burst open. Emily. Yes. I love you, please marry me. What, really? Emily's face turned bright red at my sudden proposal. And thus, a future where I would lead a happy married life with Emily was not far off. Emily, are you all right? My wife had left for a long business trip a few days ago. Upon hearing news of a significant earthquake at her destination, I hurriedly contacted her. Then, my wife replied, "Huh, what's going on?" Emily sounded as if she hadn't experienced any earthquake at all, leaving me quite startled. "Oh, well, as long as you're okay, I'm relieved." "Really, James, you are so silly." Emily ended the call with a laugh. As the dial tone echoed, a question lingered in my mind. My name is James. I'm married to a wonderful woman named Emily. We're a couple living together, dreaming of having children someday. A child resembling Emily would definitely be adorable. And if they take after you, James, they'll certainly be handsome. I used to think we were quite the lovey-dovey couple. Imagining having a child and picturing the life ahead filled with laughter. However, years into our marriage, we were still not blessed with a child. I'm sorry, it might be my fault. Emily, who was trying hard in our fertility journey, was deeply saddened. No, it's not just your fault, it could be mine too. James. We had talked about building a warm family with children when we decided to marry. But now, that dream seemed far from reality. Emily, who started fertility treatments, was having a tough time. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. Emily. Maybe the baby won't come to us because I can't make them happy. That's not true. Despite the hardships, let's focus on the joy of having a baby and endure for now. Thank you, James. As Emily began her treatments, I started mine as well. Yet, we were still unable to conceive. We were half resigned, but if by some miracle we were able to have a child, we decided to save money together with that faint hope. Thus, Emily continued to work hard in her career even after we got married. When work got busy, we hardly spoke to each other. Even when not busy, the lack of children after years of marriage made our communication dwindle. Fertility treatments were not cheap. We were wrestling with the decision of whether to continue paying high medical costs for a child whose arrival remained uncertain, or to stop the treatments altogether. Such worries had also descended upon us. We wanted a child, but work was busy, and the medical expenses were daunting. The accumulation of small things led to us rarely being intimate, even though we shared the same bed. Even when I initiated, Emily's response was often lukewarm. Emily. Sorry, James, I'm just tired. Right, of course. Swallowing the words, but we both have the day off tomorrow, right? I quietly fell asleep beside Emily. In the midst of our hectic days, I received a message from Tom, an old high school classmate. It was unusual to hear from him. Tom and I often fought over Emily in high school. While rivals might sound noble, we weren't particularly close. Our competition for the same girl didn't lead to a friendly bond like in some stories. Hey James, it's been a while, hasn't it? Tom's voice was as cheerful as ever, echoing in my ears. I couldn't help but think he hasn't changed a bit since high school. He was always the joker, the complete opposite of me. How's work going recently? Work? Yeah. Why are you asking about that? Come on, just tell me. Well, it's normal, I guess. But what about you, Tom? What are you up to now? Me, I'm just floating around, doing whatever. Is that okay with you? Well, you know me, I've always been like this, living off the ladies. I remember that now. Tom wasn't particularly handsome, but he was incredibly popular since high school. It seemed like he never ran out of women to date. He had this come-and-go attitude towards relationships, never sticking to one girl for too long. I even think some of his relationships overlapped. And it seems Tom hasn't changed one bit from those days, which is quite disappointing. I was suspicious of his sudden interest in my job, considering we weren't that close. So, how are things going with Emily? Why would you ask that? I couldn't handle it, man marriage, being with just one woman. You're amazing, James. Give me some tips on keeping a good marriage, like how to maintain a good relationship with your spouse. From the tone of Tom's voice, it was clear he had little to no interest in the topic. It felt like he was just mocking me or probing for information. I didn't feel like responding further. Especially since my relationship with Emily wasn't going that well, I didn't want to risk revealing any vulnerabilities. As I started to dodge the question, Tom quickly lost interest and ended the call. What was he thinking, suddenly contacting me and prying into my life like that? Even since high school, he's been an enigma. I felt it wasn't quite right to discuss this with Emily, leaving me unsure of how to deal with these mixed feelings. That's right. Suddenly, someone came to mind. I pulled up the messaging app and quickly sent a message to Alex, an old friend who knew me and Tom from high school. Seeking an objective opinion, I immediately reached out to Alex. James, it's been a while. Hearing Alex's familiar voice on the phone brought a bit of relief. Yeah, it's been a while. How have you been? I've been good. You sound a bit down, though, James. Being longtime friends, Alex could almost instantly tell how I was feeling just from my voice. Can you tell? Yeah, I can. Alex laughed heartily on the other end of the line. Actually, I've been getting a lot of calls from Tom lately. Tom, you mean that Tom? Yay, that Tom. The one who fought over Emily with you. That's the one. I honestly thought Tom didn't like you, James. Oh, but maybe you don't like him much either. It was more like indifference than anything. When he contacted me, it was like, oh Tom, hee, that sounds like you, James. But why would he do that? It's kind of scary, isn't it? Exactly. He's been asking about work, home, all sorts of things. Wow, that does sound worrisome. Alex's comment only added to my unease. However, sharing my concerns about Tom with Alex did clear my mind a bit. It hadn't even been half a month since Tom started contacting me. James, I'll be away on a long business trip next month. Oh, really? Yay, that's right. Emily didn't look at me as she marked the dates of her business trip on the calendar. I see. What's wrong? Are you going to miss me? Not really. Emily turned around and tilted her head. Behind her, the calendar showed her birthday overlapping with the business trip dates. As my gaze wandered, Emily seemed to realize why I was hesitating and exclaimed, oh. My birthday, right. Yay, that's it. Well, we can celebrate my birthday on another day. You've never missed celebrating it, so it's okay if we can't this year. Yeah, you're right. I had already prepared a gift, planning to surprise her on her birthday, but it seemed that plan would have to be postponed. Well, I'll just have to wait until Emily returns. I was thinking I'd give it to Emily once she returned from her business trip. A few days later, Emily left the house with a large suitcase in tow. I'm leaving. Safe travels, and be careful. James, you worry too much. Well, of course, I worry. I'll be back safe and sound, don't worry. All right, I'll be waiting. Let's have a birthday party when you get back. I'm looking forward to it. Emily left for her trip with a big smile. She seemed to be in a very good mood this morning. I guess business trips can be exciting, getting to visit new places and all. That's what I thought. It was some time after Emily had left for her trip when the news of a major earthquake broke. The earthquake seemed significant, and the TV screen was filled with frantic activity. Glancing at the news, I realized the earthquake had struck the region Emily was visiting. Worried sick, I hurriedly tried to contact her. And then, Emily, are you okay? Huck, what's up? Emily, sounding as if she hadn't experienced any earthquake, answered the call, leaving me quite relieved. Oh, well, as long as you're okay, that's a relief. James, you are so silly. You scared me. Yeah, Emily was laughing cheerfully on the phone, but I was far from feeling lighthearted. After ending the call, my mind was about to reach a certain conclusion when it was halted by a message notification from Emily. I'm taking a break at a cafe right now. she texted, along with a photo of a latte and cake. "Glad you're enjoying yourself," I replied, and a cute sticker came back in response. After that, Emily continued to send pictures that seemed to obscure her whereabouts, like shots of the night skyline. The location of the night view was indeed where Emily said she would be on her business trip, but that area was currently experiencing a blackout due to the earthquake. There's no way she could have taken a picture of the night view. Moreover, from the incident earlier in the day, it was clear that Emily hadn't gone on the business trip at all. So where could Emily be with all that luggage? And why would she go to the lengths of using a possibly old photo of a night view just to deceive me? To turn my suspicions into certainty, I contacted Emily's workplace, hoping that it was all a misunderstanding, that maybe Emily had just misspoken about her location, or that the photo of last night's skyline was accidentally an old one. If the company could just confirm that Emily was indeed on a business trip, I could be at ease. With that thought, I reached out to Emily's company, only to find out Emily has been on an extended leave for several days now. My hope shattered easily. So, Emily was. There's also no record of her being scheduled for any business trips this week or otherwise. Is that so? Yes. Is there something wrong? No. Does she have any close colleagues there? I have something I'd like to ask. Yes, of course. Despite knowing it was a long shot, I asked to be put through to one of Emily's female colleagues she often talked about. The receptionist seemed a bit puzzled by my request. After a while, a woman's voice came through. "Hello, this is she." "Hi there." "Oh, are you Emily's husband?" "Yes, that's me." "It's been a while." "Same here, actually. I wanted to ask you something today." I had met Emily's colleague just once before. Since we were acquainted, she was willing to listen to what I had to say. I asked her about Emily's recent behavior at work. Come to think of it, she's been on the phone a lot lately. Whenever she has a moment, really. On the phone. I think it's with a man, but definitely not her husband. What was his name again? Tom, I think she called him. I caught my breath. It was the moment when everything clicked into place. Is something wrong? No, thank you. I'm sorry for taking your time. Sure, no problem. After ending the call with her colleague, my doubts about Emily had turned into conviction. Emily was definitely having an affair with Tom. Moreover, they were currently on a cheating trip together. After that, I started to gather definitive proof of the affair, asking around Emily's acquaintances for more information. I learned that a man frequently visited Emily at her workplace during work hours. People inside the company who hadn't met me assumed it was me. I was even thought to be an inconsiderate husband for disturbing her at work. In my search for evidence, I examined Emily's personal belongings at home, but I couldn't find any conclusive proof. Without evidence, she could easily slip away. The doctored photos Emily had sent were of no use as evidence. And just as Emily was about to return from her business trip, which was actually a cheating getaway, I received a call from Alex. "Hey, James, Emily's not home right now, right?" "Yeah, supposedly on a business trip. I just saw Emily and Tom entering a room together." "What?" "Alex worked at a hotel, and she was giving me a real-time update on Emily meeting with Tom. I'm heading there right now." "Okay, I'll keep an eye out for them." "Thanks." If I stormed into the hotel now, I could catch them in the act. I immediately got in touch with my parents and Emily's parents. Because I wanted Tom to face significant consequences, I asked Emily's parents to contact Tom's parents as well. We all agreed to meet at the hotel where Alex works. When I explained the situation, Everyone was shocked and rushed over. Upon seeing me, Tom's parents started apologizing, but we decided to leave the apologies for later since it wasn't the time for that. Once everyone was gathered, Alex led us to the room. "Stop it, Tom. Emily, you really are sensitive." We could hear such exchanges coming from the back of the room. It seemed like the two were in the midst of their affair. Without hesitation, I made my presence known in front of them, and Emily, seeing me, looked shocked, prompting Tom to turn around and notice me as well. "Hello there. James, Dad, Mom." Realizing that not only I was there but also both sets of parents, Emily and Tom scrambled to cover themselves with the sheets. Their faces drained of color, and Emily looked like she was about to cry. "Emily, how could you do this? I'm so sorry for what she has done to you, James." Emily's father was furiously scolding her, and her mother looked extremely saddened. "James, I'm truly sorry. No need, but please understand, I will be seeking full compensation for this." After scolding Tom, his parents continued to apologize profusely. "Oh, and Emily, happy birthday." I handed the trembling Emily the present I had brought. Confused by receiving a gift in such circumstances, Emily opened the envelope I gave her and seemed lost for words. "This is... You know what it means." "No, I can't." "Take responsibility for what you've done." The divorce papers I gave to Emily were already filled out by me. All that was left was for Emily to sign them and finalize our divorce. Once the divorce was settled, I felt no attachment to the home we shared. Staying there would only make me remember Emily unnecessarily. So I decided to move. Emily took a long vacation for an affair. And all those phone calls and visits were with her lover, right? It's the worst, isn't it? Caught in the act with her lover, right in the room. That's pitiful. It seems Emily's affair became quite the talk of her workplace. Moreover, the rumors spread beyond her department, subjecting her to curious glances on every floor. Unable to bear it, Emily ended up quitting her job. Initially, she seemed determined to start anew with Tom, but his salary was low, and despite wanting to switch jobs for a pay raise, his qualifications made that virtually impossible. Moreover, despite just starting a new life with Emily, Tom showed no remorse and continued to flirt with other women. Gradually, this became a source of stress for Emily, and she eventually decided to break up with him. "Hey, James, I'm sorry about the affair. Can we start over?" After losing me and then Tom, Emily seemed to finally realize how good of a husband I had been to her. But it was too late. I had no intention of getting back together with Emily. Although I was single, I was enjoying it. I was content with my life. After all that had happened, I just wanted to live a relaxed life for a while. I'm Michael. I've been married to Amy for nearly 3 years now. The hotel where Amy and I had our wedding ceremony is one of the most prestigious in the country and is quite well known. Actually, that hotel is where I currently work. Michael, I'm so happy. It's incredible having our ceremony at this hotel. I'm glad to see you so happy, Amy. I'm the happiest now. We're going to be even happier from now on. That's right. My beautiful wife, clad in a pure white dress, smiling blissfully. I've never felt prouder of my workplace than I was at that moment. Since I was earning a respectable salary that lived up to the hotel's high reputation, my income alone was sufficient for us to live on. However, instead of becoming a homemaker, Amy chose to continue working. I loved her for her hard-working nature and happily agreed to her decision. We occasionally share complaints about our jobs, indicating that each of our workplaces was rather demanding. Though we couldn't often enjoy a leisurely lifestyle, We made sure to create opportunities for dates, like going on trips a few times a year or dining at upscale restaurants for anniversaries, ensuring our relationship remained exceptionally strong. We were leading a fulfilling married life in every sense. Maybe we can try something different on a menu. That sounds good. I've been curious about this terrain. I'd like to try this wine. Taking the train was a good choice. I'm glad I did as you suggested. One day, I got a call on my cell from the local hospital. The news was shocking. My father, who had been enjoying his retirement with my mother at home, suddenly collapsed. Given that my father was always lively and never sick, I couldn't help but be shaken. I rushed to the hospital without hesitation, but by the time I arrived, his emergency surgery had already begun, and all I could do was to keep rubbing my anxious mother's back as she waited. "Michael, your dad is." "Don't worry, Mom. Everything will be all right." Eventually, the light indicating surgery was turned off, and the surgeon informed us that my father had survived, and provided details about the expenses for the surgery. "Your husband is out of immediate danger." "Really? Thank you so much." As for the expenses for the surgery, both my mother and I were relieved that my father's life had been saved, but we couldn't help but be astonished at the exorbitant cost of the surgery. The total amount was an astonishing $100,000. I desperately researched whether insurance would cover it, but considering my father's income and age, along with the high difficulty of the surgery, which was deemed a miracle if successful, this amount seemed reasonable. "Michael, what should we do?" "It's all right. I can handle it." "But..." "No worries. I do have a high income. You might not see it, though. $100,000 is just excessively high." Naturally, it was impossible to cover the costs with my parents' pension, so I had to take out loans to manage the expenses. Damn, our savings won't even come close to covering this. Even for a couple like us with slightly higher than average income, it was clear that a significant effort would be required to pay off the entire amount. "Amy, I'm sorry. Our lives are going to become more challenging. This is nobody's fault, and certainly not yours. I just hope your father recovers soon." "Amy, thank you. I'm always being helped by you." "Don't say that. It's just what we do for each other as a couple." Thanks to Amy's income, we were managing to get by, but with the added burden of every payment, we could no longer afford the comfortable lifestyle we once enjoyed. Both Amy and I had to dedicate even more of our physical and mental energy, as well as time, to our jobs, leading to days overwhelmed by work. Naturally, finding time to spend together as a couple became increasingly difficult. "Amy, you know." "What's wrong?" "Nothing. Just don't work too hard, okay?" "Thanks, you too." Although I couldn't help but worry about Amy, who used to enjoy traveling and dining at upscale restaurants more than I did, I couldn't bring myself to discuss the matter with her directly. I immediately regretted it. This was because the continuous overtime had made me so busy that, even though I wanted to express my concerns to Amy, I simply couldn't find the time. The same went for Amy. Our time for conversations was increasingly taken away. One day, I was on a business trip at a hotel different from the one I usually work at. The work there involved the usual front desk duties, and since I had occasionally visited that hotel before, I was able to perform my tasks even more smoothly. Being a famous hotel, it was always bustling with guests. The clientele was quite diverse, and the lobby is bustling with a significant number of people, ranging from those about to check in to those who have just checked out. Then, I noticed a familiar-looking woman walking with an unfamiliar man in a suit. To my surprise, the woman was Amy. Amy took a seat on one of the many chairs in the lobby, with a bright smile on her face. It was a relaxed smile, one that even I hadn't seen in a long time. Feeling puzzled, I discreetly eavesdropped on their conversation. Due to my job, I had become skilled at picking out specific, quiet sounds even in noisy environments. This was because, as a front desk attendant, I needed to distinguish between the voices of various guests. This hotel, my husband and I often used to come here, so I'm really happy to be able to visit that restaurant again. I'm also happy to be enjoying the meal with you. Thank you. Unfortunately, my suspicions only grew stronger. In fact, the suspicion that Amy might be cheating had become almost a certainty in my mind. We promised to support each other through tough times, and yet, of all places, she comes to this hotel with another man. The man gave Amy a casual wave and then walked towards the front desk, his steps soft on the plush carpet. Due to my job, I also could understand a person's character by their walk and gestures. That man appeared somewhat rough and struck me as cunning. He definitely didn't seem like the type of person Amy would choose as a friend. Do you have any double rooms available? I'd like to stay with my girlfriend. Please wait a moment. You look kind of dull. You're jealous because she's beautiful. While operating the touchpad, I felt a strong disappointment, almost certain that Amy was cheating. Indeed, we hadn't had much time together, but I never thought Amy would be the kind of woman to betray me. My love for Amy was genuine, which only intensified the anger I felt. I wanted to confront both the man and Amy immediately. Bearing my anger with a smile, I informed the man that a room was available. Due to our hotel's policy, we require emergency contact details and addresses from guests without reservations. Could you please fill them out on this form? No problem. There you go. Is this okay? We're currently running a promotion exclusively for first-time guests. If your family visits within a year, you'll receive one complimentary course from the menu of our on-site restaurant. Well, sounds nice. I'd like to take advantage of that. I see. Then please fill out your family's home address and their phone numbers on this form. The promotion I mentioned was a complete fabrication, concocted on the spot. Without suspicion, the man easily provided his family's home address and phone numbers. Here is your room key card. Our staff will bring your luggage shortly. Please enjoy your stay. Thank you. Once the man and Amy were out of sight, I retreated to the back office. I immediately called Amy. Surprisingly, Amy answered the phone almost immediately, like at the second ring. Hello, what's the sudden call about? Where are you right now? I'm at home, now. All right, see you later. Wait, what do you mean by later? I hung up and headed to their room with my belongings. Amy, I never forgive you. I'll send both of you to hell myself. After watching the two enter the room, I immediately used the front desk system to lock the room. I had unlocked the room just before they entered and locked it the moment they were inside. Their room key card, which had been returned by another guest who had just checked out, was already registered as under cleaning. Being a first-class hotel, we take security quite seriously, so guests need their key cards both to enter and to leave their rooms. Honestly, there was a chance they might notice the room number discrepancy, but it seemed to have worked, perhaps because I had clearly written the actual room number on the envelope. This means that currently, both of them are unable to leave the room even if they want to. When I retreated to the back office again, I took out my cell phone and called Amy's parents and my mother to come to the hotel. I'm sorry for the sudden request, but could you please come to the hotel immediately? Oh Michael, what's the matter all of a sudden? It's hard to say, but Amy just checked into our hotel with an unknown man, and I suspect she's cheating. What? No way. I can't believe that my daughter would do such a thing. Sorry, but it's true. You'll understand if you come and see it yourself. Okay, I see. Anyway, Michael, I'm so sorry. Although initially puzzled, Amy's parents agreed to come immediately after listening to my brief explanation and ended the call. Since this location happened to be close to their home, they would probably arrive very soon. My mother reacted the same way. We tried to go out to buy some drinks, but we can't leave the room. What's going on? It seemed that they finally realized that they were locked in, and I received a call from their room. Although he had been very polite at the front desk, his voice now carried a rough tone with intense panic. Being locked in with your beautiful girlfriend must be thrilling, I guess. Please enjoy your time together. Hey, wait a minute, you. After letting the man finish his complaints, I cut off the call. Soon after, Amy's parents and my mother joined me at the front desk. Promising to explain in detail later, I led everybody to their room. With a feeling akin to poking a hedgehog, I unlocked and opened the door. Being afraid of what was to come, I cautiously entered the room. The double room was quite spacious, and we all made our way towards the bedroom. Amy. The room was a mess, as if there had been a scuffle. Pillows and lamps were thrown in random places, and half of the curtains were torn. A man standing in the center of the room, breathing heavily, looked towards us. At about the same time, I spotted Amy crying in the corner of the room. She was holding a piece of paper. Oh, Michael and Mom. What the hell are you people doing here? Her face immediately fell into despair. Seeing her grievous expression, I felt somewhat strange. I assumed that Amy and the man were getting cozy together at this moment. But looking at the situation, it seems as if Amy was desperately resisting. While I was lost in my thoughts, Amy suddenly stood up, started running, and fled to a corner of the hallway. We'll keep an eye on him at the door, so Michael, please take care of my daughter. Please go to her quickly. I rushed to Amy before even fully hearing what her parents said, and as I got closer, it was clear she was shaking. The top button was torn off, and her clothes were significantly disheveled, which I found quite perplexing. For the time being, I rubbed Amy's back to help her calm down. Noticing the paper Amy had been holding had fallen nearby, I picked it up and discovered it was a termination notice. Termination notice. After a while, perhaps having calmed down, Amy began to share the circumstances bit by bit. Well, I'm sorry. Let me explain. Take your time. Thank you. According to Amy, the man was her boss at work. Amy's company, facing poor performance, decided to implement major layoffs. Unbelievably, that man had the audacity to say, "If you don't want your name on the layoff list, why not spend some time with me?" No way. You don't want to lose your job now, do you? Especially since you've been working hard with overtime lately. It seems he was using his position to make advances on Amy. Initially, Amy flatly refused, but remembering the cost of my father's surgery, she felt she couldn't afford to lose her job and ended up reluctantly agreeing. However, Amy apparently hadn't anticipated that her boss's idea of spending time together had physical intentions, and before she knew it, she was pushed into a room, completely taken aback. Amy desperately tried to escape using the key card, but when she realized it wouldn't unlock the door, and to add to the chaos, her boss began causing a commotion, realizing that the situation was far from being flirtatious. In his frustration and losing control, her boss apparently thrust a termination notice at Amy in a fit of rage. Hearing this, I finally remembered that Amy had only been talking about the restaurant with her boss and also recalled how they were awkwardly lingering just before entering the room. Blinded by anger, I had completely overlooked those details. Why did you do something so risky? Absolutely true. Who knows what would have happened if we had been even a moment later. I'm sorry. Although her mother slapped Amy's cheek and her father constantly sighed, we couldn't truly be angry with Amy. It was all because Amy acted with our best interests at heart. Amy, I'm sorry. Instead of helping you, I wrongfully suspected you of infidelity. No, it's my fault for easily going along with him. Please, don't take on everything by yourself anymore. Just because you started your own family doesn't change the fact that you are still our child. Mom, Dad. Seeing the three of them crying while hugging each other, I couldn't help but cry too. Michael, I'm sorry for lying to you without consulting you. I'll never do something like this again. I really don't want you to do that again, and you can quit your job anytime, all right? Yes, and I'll look for a new job. My boss will be fired soon anyway, because he had always had a lot of problematic behavior, and he wasn't great at his job. Her boss, who tried to mess with my wife, did not apologize until the end, but his parents apologized sincerely to Amy. We apologize for any inconvenience our son may have caused you, and we have no choice but to sincerely apologize. It's really embarrassing what you did at your age. Be ashamed. Damn. You can't even properly apologize. We're cutting ties with you and never see us again. Oh no, please. According to the letter of sincere apology from the company that arrived later, after we told Amy's company about this incident, which seemed to be the last straw, the company fired him without any questions asked. Thankfully, Amy's parents offered to help with the repayment. Thanks to their support, we were able to have a little bit of financial leeway, which allowed us to spend more time together like we used to. That incident made us acutely aware of the necessity of communication between us to prevent such incidents from happening again. Hey, haven't you lost weight again recently? Actually, a large group just made a booking with us. They stayed in our hotel last year too, but there were complaints from other guests about the noise, so you must be busy dealing with that. How are you lately? Doing good. Jessica, the head of the division, is my new boss, and she is really nice. My manager is sometimes mean, but she always steps in and corrects him. Sounds great. You look good anyway. Always talk to me if anything comes up, all right? Sure, you have my word. Hey, Amy, I found this highly rated French restaurant serving affordable and delicious dishes on the app. Let's go. How about this Sunday? I have thought that this Sunday good, too. Oh, Amy, would you like to go there? It's easily accessible by train. I had no idea the beach was so close by. Shall we make it a day trip? Now that we're close to paying off everything, why don't we splurge a bit and go for an overnight stay? Well, I guess we have no choice. In the end, Amy managed to find a new job without much effort. As things started moving in a positive direction in all aspects, Amy and I once again made a firm promise to stick together. Let's make sure we didn't keep any secrets from each other from now on. Of course, let's continue to live happily together forever. My name is Michael. My parents ran a beloved sandwich shop that was adored by people of all ages. I love the sandwiches here. I end up buying them every time I'm in town for a business trip. Eating these sandwiches just feels comforting. The sandwiches my parents made had a unique taste that blended nostalgia with simplicity, and it brought smiles to all our customers' faces. All right, that'll be $2.50. Working hard as usual, kiddo, good for you. After returning from school, I would stand in front of the store to help out, and I was just as beloved by our customers as the shop was. And I too loved the customers who adored my parents' sandwiches. Thanks to the many repeat customers, I still remember quite a few of them to this day. Customers who came from the next town over, those who came walking with canes, and those who cheerfully said, "These sandwiches are my reward for a hard day's work." I particularly remember a customer who told me, "It's a treat for me." She was a very beautiful person. She must have been on her way home from work. She would come by almost every evening and buy a sandwich. What's wrong? Oh, It's $2.50. I would sometimes get lost in the beauty of her smile, backlit by the setting sun, as I handed over the sandwich. I didn't help out at the shop during middle school because I was busy with club activities, but my classmates would often come by to buy sandwiches. "My mom's a huge fan of your sandwiches." "Is that so? Well, buy a lot then." My parents' sandwiches weren't just delicious. They connected me with many different people who came to buy them. So, when my sister, Sarah, was born during my second year of middle school, making me the eldest son, I was determined. "Dad, I'll take over the sandwich shop one day." "Really?" "Yeah, the shop is loved by everyone, but I probably love it the most." "Michael, you say such heartwarming things." Dad would ruffle my hair with his big hands. "Come on, I'm the big brother now, so if you're going to pat someone, it should be Sarah." I tried to escape from his hand, but seeing my dad smiling so happily made me feel a bit ticklish too. However, tragedy struck unexpectedly one day. It was when I was in my third year of high school, and Sarah was 5 years old. "I'm hungry. Dad and Mom are taking quite a while to come back." That day, my parents had gone to the next town to buy ingredients for the sandwiches, but they hadn't returned even as the day turned to evening. Then, the phone rang. "Hello. This is the Brown residence, right? This is the police." "The police." I was informed that my parents had been in a car accident, and I quickly called a taxi, carrying Sarah with me to the hospital. But no way. What awaited us were my parents, who had already passed away. By the time we arrived at the hospital, it seemed there was nothing that could be done. "Michael, why won't Mommy and Daddy wake up?" "I don't know why, I just don't know." "Michael." The days that followed are still a blur to me. With the help of relatives who rushed over from afar, I managed to hold my parents' funeral and complete all the necessary procedures, but none of it felt real. It was all like a bad dream. It was all so sudden. However, I was forced to confront the reality that my parents were gone when an incident made me acutely aware of it. One day, when Sarah said she was hungry, I made her a sandwich. But after taking a bite, Sarah started to cry. "Your sandwich isn't tasty. It's different from Mom and Dad's." Hearing this, she began to shed tears. Sarah, still so young, didn't fully understand the death of our parents. But at that moment, I think she realized that Mom and Dad were no longer with us. "Mommy, Daddy." I hugged Sarah as she started to cry. And that's when I resolved to protect my 5-year-old sister, no matter what. I had a desire to take over the shop. But Dad had plans for me to go to college, so he probably thought that me taking over the shop was still a long way off. He hadn't taught me anything about running the business or how to make the sandwiches. In such a state, it wasn't realistic to manage the sandwich shop alone while raising 5-year-old Sarah. So, I decided to find a job right after high school. Now, everything depended on my earnings. So, I worked desperately. Being surrounded by college graduates, I felt the need to work 3 times as hard to earn their recognition. However, "Sorry, I need to leave early." Children often become ill. It wasn't just once or twice that I had to leave work early because the daycare called to say Sarah needed to be picked up. That's why I worked furiously, trying to make up for the inconvenience I caused at work. Then one day, "Michael, you look a bit pale, are you okay?" My boss, Karen, approached me with concern. Karen is a powerhouse career woman, whose work ethic rivals that of her male counterparts. Not only is she highly competent at her job, but she is also very beautiful, making her popular among colleagues, regardless of gender. However, I've never seen Karen smile. Honestly, I was slightly uncomfortable around her. Moreover, showing weakness to a superior and potentially getting less work as a result was the last thing I needed. So, I put on a brave face. I'm fine. I'm in great shape. But Karen's concern was justified. In truth, I was only getting about 2 hours of sleep each night. The reason was my sister, Sarah. Sarah had become unstable and often cried after losing our parents. To avoid making her sad, I would go straight to daycare after work every day. I would spend all my time with Sarah until she went to sleep. And then, I had to catch up on all the housework after she had fallen asleep, which meant I went to bed late at night. It was only natural that such days would take their toll on my body. Michael. Ironically, right after I had acted tough, I collapsed, powerless. Of course, I tried to get up immediately, but my legs wouldn't support me. Instead, my vision began to darken. Karen's unusually panicked voice shouting, "Call an ambulance," was all I could hear. When I woke up, I was in a hospital bed. The cause of my collapse was overwork. It seemed I would need to be hospitalized for a while. The doctor even warned me, saying, "If you push yourself any harder, it could be fatal," leaving me with nothing to do but hold my head in my hands. The biggest problem was what to do about Sarah during my hospital stay. I had no relatives nearby to rely on, and the daycare couldn't keep her for 24 hours. As I worriedly watched Sarah, who was dozing off beside my bed, a visitor came. "Karen, I was shocked when you suddenly collapsed. You must have been pushing yourself too hard." Karen approached with the sound of her heels clicking. "I'm sorry for causing you trouble. Don't worry about work. We can manage without you for a while. Right now, you need to focus on recovering." Karen stopped mid-sentence. When she widened her eyes in surprise, I wondered what had caught her off guard. "I was so shocked to learn that you had a child," she said, looking at Sarah, which made me burst out laughing. "Sarah is my sister." "Your sister? Oh right, of course." Karen blushed slightly and coughed as if to cover it up. This was a side of her not often seen at the office. "But it's already evening. Will your parents be coming to pick up Sarah soon?" "Actually, I don't have parents anymore." "What?" I shared with Karen. "Our parents had died in a car accident. I'm currently taking care of Sarah by myself, but my hospitalization has left me struggling to find someone to care for her." Hearing this, Karen let out a sigh. I was taken aback. "I'm sorry. My family issues shouldn't be your concern, Karen." "That's not it." "What?" I sighed because I can't believe you kept such an important matter to yourself. If I had known about your situation, we could have made accommodations for you at work. "I'm sorry. I didn't want to show any weakness." "No, Michael, you don't have to apologize. It's probably your fault for creating an environment where you felt you couldn't share." Karen sighed again, but this time it seemed to be directed at herself. After a moment of thought, she looked up and said, "I've decided. I'll take care of Sarah while you're in the hospital." "That's too much. I can't ask you to go to such lengths." "There's no need to be polite. I have a much younger brother, so despite how it might seem, I'm quite used to handling children." Karen then gently stroked the still sleeping Sarah's hair. Her eyes softened, perhaps reminded of her own brother when he was young. Just then, Sarah woke up. "Who are you?" "Sorry, did I wake you?" "No, it's okay." Sarah clung tightly to Karen's arm. Despite usually being shy around strangers, Sarah seemed comfortable with Karen. Karen looked at me as if to say, "See. It seems she really is experienced with handling children." "All right, I know I should refuse, but..." "It's settled then. I'll take good care of Sarah, so you just focus on getting better." "Okay. Oh, but there are some things you should know about Sarah." "Like what?" She can sleep without clutching a towel blanket, and in the morning, she'll only eat toast with chocolate spread. Also, it's hard to get her to wash her hands with soap. As I frantically explained everything about Sarah, Karen's eyes widened in surprise. Then she laughed. "You really are a wonderful brother." Karen's smile was so beautiful that I was momentarily captivated, but I snapped back to reality when she called my name, Michael. "It's nothing. Please take good care of Sarah, and if there's any trouble, feel free to contact me anytime." "All right, understood." Karen and I exchanged contact information. My hospital stay lasted 2 weeks, but Karen sent me photos of Sarah looking happy every day via texts, which greatly eased my mind. I truly couldn't thank Karen enough. I was wrong to have had a cold impression of her in the past. And on the day of my discharge, I bought a thank you gift and went to Karen's house to pick up Sarah. "Really, I can't thank you enough for everything. It seems like you were very kind to Sarah as well." "Haha, it's all good. I had a wonderful 2 weeks myself. Come on in. I was just making sandwiches for Sarah." Sandwiches. When I entered, Sarah was happily eating a sandwich at the table. "What's going on here?" After what happened with her mom and dad, Sarah used to hate even the sight of sandwiches. Karen's sandwiches are so delicious. They taste just like mom and dad's. "Really?" Surprised, Karen offered me a sandwich. "Would you like to try one, Michael?" "Yes, please." Karen's sandwich. When I took a bite, I was as shocked as if I had been struck by lightning. Of course, it was delicious, but this tastes just like my mom and dad's sandwiches. Just like Sarah said, Karen's sandwiches tasted remarkably like my parents'. It couldn't have been just a coincidence. My mom and dad spent years of trial and error perfecting that sandwich. Karen said to me, surprised, "Actually, I was a regular at your parents' sandwich shop." "What?" "As a reward for working hard, I almost went there every day." Karen laughed. Just then, the setting sun shone through the window behind her. "Ah!" I couldn't help but exclaim. The beautiful person who used to come by every evening after work to buy sandwiches. That beauty, smiling against the backdrop of the setting sun, was indeed Karen. I was truly saved by your parents' sandwiches. She began to share. Moving to the city for work from the countryside was tough, especially being looked down upon by male colleagues. Even when she proved them wrong with her results, she faced harassment for being a woman. And as she continued to strive, there came a point where she could no longer smile genuinely at work. It was hard feeling like I was losing myself, but eating that sandwich, with its nostalgic and simple taste, I could relax and just be me again. Karen squinted nostalgically and then looked down at her sandwich. "That's why I was really sad when that shop closed. My sandwich tastes like your parents because I tried so hard to recreate that taste myself." So that was it. I felt like I was going to cry. That my parents' sandwiches had saved Karen. And that Karen cherished my parents' sandwiches to such an extent. "Hey, Michael, why did you close the shop?" Karen's question made my heart ache. I couldn't replicate my parents' sandwich taste, and above all, it was impossible, managing the shop while taking care of Sarah and doing all the household chores alone. "I can teach you how to make the sandwiches." "What?" "I can help with taking care of Sarah and the household chores." "Karen, what are you saying?" "I want you, Michael, to revive the sandwich shop." Karen said this with a steady gaze. "But how can I possibly?" As I averted my eyes from Karen's gaze, will he be able to make mom and dad's sandwiches? This time, Sarah looked up at me with hopeful eyes. "Sarah." Her gaze reminded me. I remember declaring I would take over the sandwich shop with enthusiasm when I became the big brother after Sarah was born. How my dad happily tousled my hair. Right, I really did want to take over my parents' shop. Are you really okay with this? In response to my words, Karen smiled and nodded. From that day, Karen started living with us, helping out with household chores. I spent my spare time working on reviving the shop. I fixed up the shop, which had been unused for a while, and reached out to all the contacts my parents had relied on for their support. Of course, I didn't forget to learn how to make sandwiches from Karen. Sandwiches became a daily presence on our dining table, and Sarah was happy about it. Come to think of it, Sarah has been stable lately, without any crying. I truly can't thank Karen enough. And then, 3 months later, thanks to careful planning and Karen's support, I was able to reopen the sandwich shop. It wasn't just Karen, who had been eagerly awaiting the reopening. Many of the customers who used to come by also returned right away. I was honestly anxious. Neither I nor even Karen could perfectly replicate the taste of my parents' sandwiches. That's why, when the same customers came back the next day saying, the sandwiches were delicious, the taste was so comforting, it brought tears to my eyes. Thank you for reopening the shop. We'll keep coming back. I was so moved I almost cried. Afterwards, the shop thrived. Since the sandwich shop alone was enough to support us, I quit my job. Sarah settled down completely, and I could focus solely on the shop. Seeing this, Karen said, "Well, the shop is on track now, so it's time for me to leave," and decided to move out. Then, wait, Karen. Sarah pulled on Karen's clothes, stopping her. "Why are you leaving?" "Because my role here is done." "That's right, Sarah. We can't depend on her forever." At my words, Sarah looked genuinely puzzled. "I know how Karen used to look at you at the slightest moment and smile at you, Michael, and I know you used to do the same to Karen." Sarah's words were spot on. I had come to be attracted to Karen as we lived together and shared so much time. "You two should get married." Motivated by Sarah's straightforward words, I found myself rushing to Karen, holding her hand as if to stop her from leaving. "Karen, I want you to stay here forever." Surprised by my words, which were akin to a proposal, Karen responded, "Yes, if you're okay with me." She smiled that beautiful smile I loved and nodded. The bond that my parents' sandwiches had forged. I'll cherish it forever. After that, Karen and I got married. Now, as a couple, we're running the thriving sandwich shop. Haha, welcome. Of course, with Sarah's help.